Yeah. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Soto here with Little Juan on one time. Autumn Windbags. Hello. Welcome. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and all the guys that don't know their fathers. Happy Father's Day. So we're going to start off today. It's going to be a hard-hitting show, a fast-hitting show today because, honestly, it's Father's Day. I don't want to be on here, even though I don't have any fucking kids that I know of. So, Raiders are going to score. Mayhem Mac Raider. Raiders are going to score so many freaking points this year. Defense just needs to be average. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think they're going to score a lot of points this year. As far as being average, that's tricky because, like we've seen a lot of times with other teams, when their offense is clicking, their defense seems to be playing a whole lot better. A lot of times that's because when you score a lot and you score quickly, you put a lot of pressure on the opposing offenses to kind of catch up and keep up. And sometimes they do some things that they don't normally would do, or they go off game plan, stuff like that. And it makes your defense look better. So, yeah, I think our offense is going to be freaking awesome this year. Flex Money, yo, what's up, baby? How's it going today? Welcome, everybody. God damn it, welcome. It's Sunday. It's Father's Day. It's I didn't pull out in time day. It's my Jenga game is soft day. Great day today. I don't know where you guys are from. I live in Long Beach, California. It was an absolutely amazing day today. It wasn't hot. It wasn't cold. It was a little bit breezy. It was sunny. Chicks were wearing less. It's just everything that you would want from a great day in June, in mid-June. That's what we got today. That's what I got today. I don't know what you got, but that's what I got. Before we start any further, I will tell you right now, everybody, please, we love you. Just make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and in that little corner over there, that little notification button, go ahead and click that sucker, because then you'll know right away when either RJ or myself go live, or when we drop a new video. You'll be the first to hear, be the first to comment, get all that good stuff going down. Cool. So, a couple things that I wanted to talk about today are very positive. And these are things that I think are going to work well in our favor. And one of them was what Mayhem Mac Raider alluded to, was our offense. A lot of things are happening in the NFL. There is like 10 new freaking head coaches in the NFL this year. That's a lot. It's just, I don't know if you guys can appreciate how much 10, that's a third of the NFL has new head coaches for their teams. That's damn near like, it's just nuts. Okay. It's just nuts. It's like 2.5 divisions in the NFL have new coaches. So it's like, let's say like the whole AFC West, the whole AFC North, and like half of the AFC South has a new head coach. That's how many freaking head coaches are brand new right now. It's crazy. It's unprecedented. And it just goes to show you a lot of these new, like younger head coaches pairing with younger stars. It's almost kind of taking a little bit of shape of what has happened in the NBA a little bit, where you get some stars, you round out a roster. I mean, it's not exactly the same because the rosters are a lot bigger, but it's something along those lines where you're pairing up. Okay, I got a young guy, I got a small window to be able to make this, as large as the salary cap is going, I still have a small window to kind of have that cheat code, right? Where you have a star player at key positions at a very low salary compared to other salaries. So I want to spend that extra money, and I want to get a guy that I know is going to work. But if they don't work, guess what? They got a short leash. So I know I said it, but a lot of people are popping on right now. So I want to say it again, everybody. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, everybody. All the fathers out there. I don't care if you got a real baby, a fur baby, a bunch of knuckle babies. I don't care what you got. You're a father. Unfortunately, I lost my father 21 years ago. That's crazy. In July, it'll be 21 years, July 8th. And damn, that's a long time. That's a long ass time. But Pops is a good dude. He had a lot more fashion sense than I'd ever had. He was wearing those like deep V's like before they were chill, like the deep ass, like an inch above the belly button deep V-neck with the little taco meat showing and the chains. That was him, and the fucking chops. My pops, he owned a mechanic shop, and goddamn, I don't know why he did this. We used to tease him mercilessly about this, but he would wear, and this was 20-something years ago, right? So he would wear sweats, like the little crunchy ankle sweats, right? That were like the shit back then. But he had no pockets in them. They were just like the regular sweats. They weren't like, sweats with pockets. So he would put on a pair of shorts over his sweats. And we were like, "Oh my God, Dad, what are you doing?" And he's like, I don't have any pockets in these sweats. I'm like, then don't wear the sweats. What are you doing wearing sweats with shorts on top? I don't know, man. I don't know. My pop was definitely a wild one. So happy Father's Day, everyone. All right, let's get down to some business here. So Bucky Brooks at NFL.com, he had an article. You can go check it out. It's a good article. He made a list of the new head coaches situations, the new head coach situations. This is something that we kind of brushed on a little bit in one of our main shows, but I wanted to go a little bit more in depth because honestly, what you're looking at here is basically what the list boiled down to was the head coach quarterback pairing. Because honestly, if you have a good quarterback, it's going to be a good situation for you. Even if you have a shit defense, honestly, like you should, if you have a top flight quarterback and you have a bad defense, you should be able to at least win something and be in the hunt. So let's take a look at what's going on here. McDaniels was ranked number 2. So Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr were ranked number 2 for new head coaches situations. Let's take a look at the list as he wrote it. Number 1, I mean, I'm sure you can probably gather what number 1 is. It's kind of, I mean, is this really like, it's kind of cheating, but whatever. Todd Bowles and Tom Brady were number 1. Todd Bowles was already there last year. Nothing's really changing. Byron Leftwich is still there as the offensive coordinator. Todd Bowles, the head coach, who was the defensive coordinator. So, Bruce Arians gave up a lot of the play calling responsibilities later in the year to Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady. So, nothing much is going to change from last year, which is why I think this is the number. This was ranked number 1 because not a lot's going to change. You have a quarterback who likes the situation, who likes his targets. A defense who is, evolving. They're losing some players, but they're evolving. A rebuilt offensive line. But I think it's a good situation here. At number 2, which is I already let the cat out of the bag on that one. Number 2 is Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr. For number 2, a couple of reasons for this, and there's a lot of good names on this list, and this is why I think this is one of the better ones. Josh McDaniels is, by all accounts, an offensive genius. That's what he's been called. A lot of people are going to roll their eyes who either are Raider haters or just haters in general and want to shit on anything the Raiders do. But Josh McDaniels goes out there and he puts up big numbers. He had a Mac Jones and no weapons last year, basically, right? He had really nothing to speak of. I had a couple of tight ends he gave a lot of money to, but really didn't have a lot of weapons, and his offense was pretty damn good. It was like middle of the pack. So if you can get a rookie who really doesn't know the NFL game, just learning the NFL game with not a lot of weapons to have a middle of the road offense, That's not bad. So what is he getting when he comes here to Las Vegas? He's getting Derek Carr. Now, the good thing about having the unquestioned leader of the team buy into what you're trying to do is people are just going to jump in and do it. Now, I've been kind of pounding the table as Josh McDaniels being a head coach who isn't going to ask players to do things that they don't do well, which is the mark of a good head coach. But not everything's a perfect fit. There are going to be times when you're going to be asked to stretch yourself as a player because the offense needs it, because the game plan needs it, because the defensive matchup dictates it. So how do you get the buy-in without any type of pushback from your team? Well, you have the leaders on the team buy in and show by example that they can do it, and they will do certain things that maybe they aren't as comfortable doing, but they'll try at least because it's best for the team. So I really do think that's going to work out well in our favor. Derek Carr finally has a set of weapons that can be looked at as one of the best set of weapons in the NFL. I don't know that ever since going into the 2017 season have we had a set of weapons like this, where we had Cooper, we had Crabtree, and we had Cook. So the 3 C's, and Carr, 4 C's. We had that going into the 17 season after the 16 season went so well for us. So things didn't work out that year for whatever reason. But that's one thing that we have to look at now is ever since then, we really haven't had that kind of that collection of talent offensively. We do have a little bit of question marks going on the offensive line, like we talked about in previous episodes. I have full confidence that we're going to go into camp and we're going to put what we think is our best 5 out there and look for the best next maybe 3 or 4. And if it's not going to cut the mustard, because there's a big difference here, guys. If it doesn't cut the mustard, I think we'll go out elsewhere outside of the team and look to fill a gap. Because there's a big thing that I've been arguing many, many times, and this is not anything against Derek Carr or anything like that, because I'm not trying to make it that. When I have criticism of Carr, one of the things that I get back is he's the best quarterback that we've had in 20 years, in 30 years, and since Gannon, whatever. Okay, I agree with that. But that doesn't mean he's one of the – I'm not saying he is or isn't, but just because he's one of the best that we've had doesn't mean he's the best option that we can have now or he's the best in the NFL now. That's just an example that I'm showing. It's not anything negative or positive on Derek Carr. That's what I mean about the offensive line. We're not going to just sit back and say, okay, these are the best 5 that we have, and we're just going to roll with it. If one of those 5 doesn't cut the mustard, guess what? He's going to kick in to maybe be one of the top 8, but we're going to look elsewhere to fill that gap and get someone who plays better. So I have full confidence that we'll do that. If you get like a 1 or 2 year rental on a guy, I'm sure there's guys out there that we can get. We do have cap space for it too. One of the next guys that I think was ranked number 3, which is a little bit surprising because I thought number 4 would be ranked number 3, but it makes sense because very similar to the situation in Tampa, Dennis Allen and Jameis Winston. So Jameis Winston basically has the exact same formula that Tom Brady does, okay? And I think almost probably a better roster all around. So you have a defensive coordinator, which was Todd Bowles, moved to head coach. You keep your offensive coordinator. Basically, you keep your defensive coordinator. Same exact thing happened in New Orleans. Dennis Allen, former Raider coach, Dennis Allen was the defensive coordinator. He kicks up to the head coach. Offensive coordinator stays the same. Defensive coordinator basically stays the same. It's pretty much the same situation. And that's why I think they're so high. It's because you don't have that uncertainty of are they going to pick up the offense? How is it going to work? Is the offense going to work with the weapons and tools that we have currently? So that's why I think New Orleans was number 3, but it's a great shot for them. I thought this is the number 4 team I thought was going to be number 3, but it does make sense now that I talk about it out loud. About the familiarity with the offense and stuff like that. Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson. So honestly, Nathaniel Hackett is a head coach, just like honestly, like Josh McDaniels is a head coach, like Todd Bowles is a head coach, like Dennis Allen as a head coach. You have 3 second-time head coaches who didn't do well their first time around. And you have a first-time head coach who, by all accounts, has a good offensive mind. But as good as Russell Wilson is, I don't think anyone's going to try to compare Russell Wilson's skill set to the skill set of Aaron Rodgers, where Nathaniel Hackett was previously. It's one of those things where we have to take a look at the surrounding talent, not just the quarterback head coach pairing. That's the main thing that we're looking at here is the quarterback head coach pairing. But then you have to take a look at everything underneath. As good as the weapons that Derek Carr has now, and Adams and Waller and Renfro, that's pretty much receiving wise where it ends. There's a lot of question marks about the other guys on the team. Who's going to be the third receiver? Who's going to be the fourth receiver? Is Foster Moreau going to step up from a very disappointing 2021 season? I'll have to be honest. I was a very big fan of his. How are the running backs going to be used? Who are going to be the running backs? A lot more question marks there. You take a look at Todd Bowles and Tom Brady over in Tampa. I mean, you do have injuries and stuff like that, but you do have very good weapons and very good skill players out there. And also take a look at the Saints, and they're just loading up. You got they signed Landry, and you have Michael Thomas coming back. But by all accounts, Michael Thomas is 100% healthy. Alvin Kamara. That's those 3 guys there are just very, very, very good talent, if not elite talent at their positions. I'm not 100% sold on the receiving core for the Broncos. I think they're a little bit overrated. I think they're okay. Maybe having a better quarterback like Russell Wilson, a more accurate quarterback like Russell Wilson, is going to inflate their numbers. You got Cortland Sutton, you got Jerry Jeudy, but you lost Fant, the tight end, which was I think their best receiver out was Noah Fant. He's gone. But you have a couple other guys that are going to be okay. And you have a two-headed monster at running back that I'm thinking is going to be a more running-centric offense that takes deep shots, which is basically what Russell Wilson does, is a deep shot. So I'm going to concentrate on those 4. What do you guys think? I have some comments here that I want to share with you guys. But we got some comments here. Let's see what we got going on here. William Merchant, what's up, William? We are in position to have better than average defense. We just need another D tackle. Ogunjobi, Sue, Richardson. Yeah, they're out there. They're out there for a reason. They're probably wanting a little bit more money. And I think these 3, because they've been starters for most of their career, they're going to wait and see if, like I said about the offensive line with the Raiders, if a guy just not cutting the mustard, they don't have anybody good enough for that position. Around the NFL, they want a defensive tackle. God forbid it happens every week, the injury, stuff like that. I think that's what they're waiting for because they can still keep their price a little bit higher. FG, leather gonna lay the wood. We'll see, man. I mean, look, it's not gonna be for lack of effort, I don't think, because he transformed his body. He looks completely different. He was like a huge bear last year. He was just like a big old grizzly bear. Now he's trimmed down. He's got a thinner waist. He's got nice broad shoulders. He looks like a lot more lean and cut. The thing is, ask Tony Mandrich about working out and how that translates to the field. He just couldn't cut it on the field, right? He couldn't. He was a number 1 or 2 overall pick. Workout warrior, bodybuilder body, just couldn't play football. I'm not saying Leatherwood can't play football, but I'm saying I would caution anyone to translate off the field workout work to on the field performance, especially on the offensive line. Some of these guys are just big old sloppy around motherfuckers and they can play. So I want to see it on the field because he was that bad. He was the worst rated right guard and the worst rated right tackle in the NFL. And I don't know how you can make up that gap to be serviceable, let alone be a beast from being the absolute worst. That's a lot of guys to jump over in the NFL who are working hard as well, from being that bad to being average, let alone being really good. I hope so, man, because he's already on the team and we would love him to do well. So yeah, I hope so. Mayhem Mac Raider. I live on a mountainside about 30 minutes from Santa Cruz. Awesome, beautiful. Oh man, yeah, man. Santa Cruz is dope. My aunt went to school out there. UC Santa Cruz, the Fighting Banana Slugs. You didn't think I knew that, did you? And I went up there to visit her a few times, and man, it was great up there. Nice, sleepy town, small little houses, but where I went to, at least. But very quaint cities. Everyone knows each other. It's a chill little spot. Shorts over sweats was how we did at PE at high school back in the day. I don't know, man. Look, my dad didn't go to high school. My dad, he didn't even go to junior high. He stopped going to school in what we would call late elementary school. Here was in Mexico, and he started working. He moved over in his late teens, and he joined the army, got his citizenship, joined the army, was in the army for a while, got out and just started working on, he could have been a cook. He could have worked in the kitchen because that's what he did. I was his job in the army. He cooked, but he got out and he started working on cars and working in different mechanic shops. He was very good with his hands. And he would just I'm like that too, where you can just show me how to do something, like physically show me, and then I'll be able to do it. Yeah, but shorts over sweats, man. I always trip me out. Edgar Bonilla, happy Father's Day, man. Yeah, man. Right back at you, bro. Right back at you. So we got a couple of oops, what the hell was that? We got a couple of comments here. This is from Mana Tangitao, who says, we're in trouble if Alex Leatherwood is going to be our starting right tackle. Again, the most we can go by is what we've seen and a natural projection of trajectory. Let's hope the trajectory is going up from being the poorest rated right tackle and left tackle. Let's use Jonathan Abram as an example. He was abysmal against the pass his second year. His first year, he played one game, or he was in his second game when he got hurt, I believe. So, second year, he was the worst rated DB against the pass. His third year, he was just as bad against the pass, but he was a lot better against the run. He was second on the team in tackles. So, is that what it's going to be with Leatherwood? Is he still going to be abysmal in pass protection, but get a lot better at run protection? I would vote for him to be just as good in run, but better against the pass because he was so bad in pass pro. Yeah, we'll see. That's the thing, guys. Is I'm not wishing that Alex Leatherwood does poorly because he's on our team already. He's under contract. I want him to do well because he's already here. Might as well do well, right? But when you're that poor of a player at your position, ranked against the other players in your position, it's asking a lot for that player to turn around and be serviceable, let alone one of the top players in one season. Now, can there be a trajectory moving up where maybe he's a backup, he gets in here and there, and then he gets more experience and he gets better at his craft, and then he can be a starter later on, a la Denzel Good, where he became better as the years went on? That's, I think, what is more likely the trajectory for Alex Leatherwood. But we'll see. I've been wrong before. God knows I've been wrong before. Just another DJ says, Soto, what's your thoughts on the AFC as a whole? The AFC North is going to be interesting along with the AFC West. What teams could you see making the playoffs? Okay, that's a little off topic, but what the fuck ever, man. I make the rules here. We can go ahead and do it. Let's see. Let's go. What do we got going here? I see the Bills for sure making the playoffs. The AFC North is a crapshoot, man. And here's the deal. Grumbling's going around right now. I really don't think Sean Watson is going to play this year. I really don't. I think that the NFL is kind of – I see what they're doing depending on what the NFL's end game or intent was for waiting so long to give out a punishment, because more stuff is coming out. More chicks are coming forward. I didn't mean that in a derogatory sense. I see how it sounded after I said it. More accusers are coming forward. If even more start to come out, because look, man, 17 months, 66 different women. That's one a week, man. That's a lot of different massage therapists. So what we're looking at here, if you're the NFL, is when is the perfect time to say, okay, let's cut it off right here and punish them for right here and be okay with there not being like double as many come afterwards. Because that's what you're running into if you're the NFL. If you're the NFL and you say, hey, okay, you're suspended for X amount of games, if you're Deshaun Watson, right? If you are suspended for, let's say, for the season, and then 50 more chicks come out and they say, yeah, I accuse him of X, Y, and Z. It could seem like it's a little bit premature by the NFL, the punishment. But now it's like, okay, it's kind of calmed down. Not a lot of more people are coming out. The NFL should have talked to most of these women already. As far as the AFC North goes, I can see Baltimore and the Bengals making it. I don't see Pittsburgh doing anything. And if there's no Deshaun Watson, there's no Cleveland in the playoffs that year. You go to the AFC South. I think Indy is in the best position right now. Even though Tennessee was the number one seed in the AFC last year, I don't see them making the playoffs this year. They just don't have anyone to throw the ball to. And although Derrick Henry is an absolute monster, the reason why they were able to be as successful as they were is because they did have A.J. Brown to throw to, and they fed him. So A.J. Brown is no longer with the Tennessee Titans. Who are they going to throw the ball to? There's really nobody there of any significance receiver-wise that could really scare an NFL secondary. So it's going to be pretty much, the Derrick Henry show coming off of injury. Ryan Tannehill has shown that if you force him to win the game himself, he's just not going to be able to do it. Indy with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan had one or two. Russell Gage is really good, but he had a couple of guys to throw to. Kyle Pitts is going to be an elite tight end, and that was pretty much it. And he still put up some decent numbers. I think Matt Ryan going into the Colts, I think that's going to be that's going to be the division winner, the Colts, and they're going to go to the playoffs next year for sure. And here comes the AFC West. Look, I don't know that the Chiefs' offense is going to be anywhere near where it was because now they're a lot more predictable. They got MVS and they got Juju on their team, which Juju can do the possession receiver stuff, the over-the-middle stuff that Tyreek Hill did, and MVS can do the deep stuff that Tyreek Hill did. The thing is they're not the same person, right? So when Juju's in the game, you don't have to worry about the deep ball, and when MVS is in the game, you don't really have to worry about the underneath stuff because that's not really what he does. So their offense becomes a lot more predictable. Now, Andy Reid is a very smart offensive mind. Is he going to change the offense a little bit? Is he going to do more 2 tight end sets? Is he going to be a little bit more run centric? Is he going to throw to his running backs more? Because his running backs have been good receivers out of the backfield. I don't know. It's possible when you have a player like Patrick Mahomes on your team. I really do think that anything is possible. I don't see Kansas City winning the West this year. I have it a race between the Chargers and the Raiders. I really do think we're going to win the West. I think we're going to make it to the playoffs. I think the Chargers are going to make it to the playoffs. And I even think the Chiefs are. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got one more. No, 7. That's it. Because only one the first team gets a bye. That's your 7. We got the Bills, we got the Bungles and the Ravens. We got the Titans, and then we got the Raiders and Chargers. I think that's going to be your playoff teams out of the AFC. Yeah. Jack Kenna, Soto, salute, brother, salute. Salute to you, my good sir. Anthony Provencio, what's up, my man? I see you in your I remember that work picture. Soto, I have a real question for you and the nation. All right, let's see let's hear it. Yeah, what's up, baby? The numbers. Saludos, Soto. Do you see us getting Sue and extend Waller? I don't see us signing a defensive tackle anytime soon. I think that we want to see what we have already and see if it's going to be up to snuff. How is it going to play together? Here's why I say that. We re-signed Hankins. We signed like 3 or 4 more defensive tackles. Plus, we also drafted 2 defensive tackles. So it doesn't make sense for us to spend a lot of money at that position because we've already allocated a lot of roster space. Maybe not a lot of money, but a lot of roster space to that position already. I think that Patrick Graham is going to want to see the players play in the preseason, maybe see how they do in training camp, see where it goes from there. Because honestly, I really do think that position is going to be okay. Sue would be great, but at what cost? And who are you going to bump out? I don't know. George C. Jorge C. What's good? Wants salute Raiders. Salute, man. Salute. All righty. Oak Raider 12. What up, man? What's up? What's cracking? Casey rocking with a bunch of number 2s. Yeah, man. Look, the only real number 1 option they have is the tight end that we're going to remain nameless. And they have a bunch of other guys out there, a bunch of also rans. So that's the thing is like, I mean, can you revolve an offense around a tight end? Sure, you could, but you're going to have to be a lot more creative than putting them in line and having him run the regular route tree of a tight end. You're going to have to, use a lot of motion, use a lot of running back action underneath the tight end to pull some of the coverage. You have to do a lot of different things to get him open and get him, make him the catalyst of your offense. Jack Kenna, the question you have Soto. All right. The question you have for me. Next year, only approximately 3.6 in cap space. Overspend the season on future contracts. How does the Raiders spend this cap space this year? Okay, so a couple things are going to happen next year. We're going to rework some contracts because the bulk of these contracts that you're talking about were contracts that are already on the books. So I see us reworking a few things. I see us maybe extending Colton Miller to give us some cap relief there. I think some of the Derek Carr contract can be worked out because it's non-guaranteed contract. So you can rework those a lot easier than you can other contracts and push some of that money down further down the road. So I think we're going to have a decent amount of cap space next year. I'm not that big. I'm not worried on the cap space for next year. As far as this year, I think we hold pat right now. I think we maybe look for another offensive weapon at receiver if something just pops up and like a guy becomes available. Maybe a veteran who isn't a guaranteed number 1 anymore, but is out there who can be a good number 3 for us. That'll be a great pickup for us. I talked about offensive linemen. If an offensive lineman is out there who's willing to work at average veteran salary for a year, Maybe some void years at the end. Who knows? But that's how I see us spending our cap space. Anthony, they talking big shit about Sky Moore, but he a rookie. He got to prove it to me first. Yeah, I mean, look, Sky Moore, you got to go out there and do it. Now, here's the deal. Is Andy Reid talented enough? Is Patrick Mahomes talented enough to be able to put him Sky Moore? Pronouns, pal. Oh, that just made me remember. We have come to the end of an era. When I say pronouns, pal, that's from another podcast. And they say that pronouns, pal, because the gentleman who was in the podcast, Bruce Pritchard, he used to work, or he still does work, I think until a few weeks ago, or a few days ago, actually, worked for WWF, WWE, and Vince McMahon. And that's something that Vince McMahon would always say. So he wanted his announcers when they're on TV not to say, oh, he picked him up and body slammed him. No, it's pronouns, pal. Like, Macho Man picked up Ricky Steamboat and just body slammed him. Hulk Hogan picked up Andre the Giant, body slammed Andre the Giant. Like, don't say him or they. He did, right? So, okay, that's why I say pronouns, pal. And this is why I'm going off on this tangent. Vince McMahon was outed for giving $3 million in hush money to a former office employee, not even one of those hot ass divas he had, but an office employee that he was banging to keep quiet about it. Damn. Because of that, he stepped down as CEO. He's no longer the CEO or the chairman of the board as far as the WWE goes. His daughter, with them big old titties, Stephanie McMahon, has taken the reins, and she is now the CEO and runs the ship at WWE. The end of an era. Vince McMahon has stepped down. Now, back to the NFL. Sky Moore has to prove it, man. He does. He really does have to prove it. I don't know that Sky Moore is the Randy Moss, Chase type, Jamar Chase type receiver who's going to jump on the scene and just cause havoc, just catch wreck, right? I don't think that's going to be the case. I do think that he has the possibility of being a good receiver down the road just next year. I think there's going to be some growing pains because you're asking Sky Moore basically to go in there and be Tyreek Hill is basically what you're looking to do, unless you radically change the offense. Jack Cannon, wish more guaranteed dollars versus overall contracts. 3.6 is slim next year. It is, but like I said, we do have a couple of contracts that we can fool with. I know we want to keep Colton Miller around. After this year, he'd have, I think, 2 years left on his deal, or 2 years left. So we could go ahead and maybe, flip him around a little bit, say, hey, we can work out this deal and maybe convert some of your contract money into bonus money. We're not going to be short of dollars and we're going to be able to create cap space. Don't worry. Trust in Champ and Ziegler. We're going to go ahead and be okay. Who's my starting strong safety this year? That is a loaded question, sir. I actually touched on this question last week. I don't think it's going to be Jonathan Abram. I think Graham asks way too much of his safeties coverage-wise to have Jonathan Abram be out there as pretty much a liability in pass coverage. That leaves Daron Harmon, who wasn't much better, Gillespie, and Isaiah Pola-Mao. I don't think it's going to be Pola-Mao. I honestly do think it's going to be Harmon in the beginning, but I do think that Gillespie and Pola-Mao are going to have a lot more playing time. I really have high hopes for Pola-Mao, and it's not just because he went to USC. Maybe I'm a little bit jilted and a little bit jaded towards in his direction because I saw him play so much, but he's a big 6'4", athletic safety. He can play. Not necessarily as fast as some of the other players in that position, but not for lack of plays. He had 5 interceptions in college. He had 178 tackles in college. He had, I think it was, 9 tackles for loss, 5 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery. I mean, this guy can play. So I think the strong safety This year is going to be very similar to the weak side linebacker, how it was last year, how Corey Littleton kind of manned the space because of his reputation, basically. Then Divine Diablo went in there and just took the job from him. Now Divine Diablo is going to get a lot more playing time, probably start. We're going to see that towards the end of the year. I don't think it's going to be quite as long as it took Divine Diablo, because I think Patrick Graham is a little bit more in tune of what he's looking for in that position. And I think it's going to be a mix of Harmon at first, then Gillespie and Polamalu afterwards. Hopefully Polamalu. Hopefully he makes the team. Just another DJ. I asked because the potential for the Raiders offense is high, like top 5 in the league high. I agree. What else would be the reason we make or miss the playoffs with a tough schedule? I think if we cannot protect Derek Carr, number one, if we can't protect Derek Carr, and I'm not saying necessarily he gets hurt, but if we can't protect him where he can't make plays, and if we can't run the ball the way we need to, if we can't attack the opposing defense with the run, it's going to be very difficult for us to run a prototypical Josh McDaniels offense. He does a lot of play action. He does a lot of misdirection. He does a lot of screens. He does a lot of that type of stuff. And to be able to do that effectively, you have to be able to run the ball. So those are the two big things. If we can't protect Carr, if we can't run the ball effectively, I think it's going to keep us from making the playoffs next year. I'm not worried defensively about us at all. Jack Kenna, click and sub to our, yes, right. Click and sub, baby, and get the notifications going. What position do you see Leatherwood playing? Left bench. Initially. Look, man, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am super wrong, because he's a first-round player. We're paying him a lot of money because he's a first-rounder. I hope he makes the field. I hope he starts at right tackle. But I don't know, man. He has to make a big jump from being the worst-rated right tackle in the NFL to being somebody that can start for us. That's all I'm saying. Anthony Provencio, I like Paul. I like him a lot too, man. Guys, do me a huge favor. If you do not know who Isaiah Polamalu is, go ahead and look at some highlight film of him. Look at his stats. This kid can play, and he's a big kid. Keegan Jones, what's up, baby? My phone didn't give me the update when the show started. Man, it'll be on here. Right after I'm done, it'll be right on there again on YouTube. You're good, man. What do you think of Denzel Good? Is he starting? What position? I think Denzel Good is going to be our right guard. And I think it's going to really solidify the interior part of that offensive line. LOL, your words. I like Ziegler. I loved and trusted Al too. The cap the Raiders have now needs to be used either for pure Super Bowl run or take cap relief off of next year. Yeah, I'd say we keep the cap and see what we can do with it. Maybe we move around some contracts so we can shift some of that money for next year to this year. There's a lot of things we can do with that cap. Anthony Provencio, excuse me. The dynasty starts this year. I think it starts this year, man. I think it started last year with a lot of the core group that we got, and that really elevated their play last year. You see a Max Crosby elevate his play. You see a Denzel Perriman get new life. You see guys like Divine Diablo and Hobbs and because of necessity, you see Renfro step up and give himself new life. Like, these are cornerstone parts of your team that you're going to need moving forward. We can realistically, within next 2 Lombardis, we can win the next 2 Lombardis. I think we're set up to be able to do that. I think we're going to need a big jump defensively. I think we're going to be in the hunt. Now, once you're in the hunt, once you're in the playoffs, it's open season. You can win. You can win it. Look at what the Bengals did last year. They were a 4th seed. They were the lowest seeded division winner, and they made it to the Super Bowl. They could have won it. They were like one score away from winning. So there's that. Now, as far as being one of the favorites going in, I still think we're one or 2 years away from being a favorite going into the season, but we can definitely win it next year. Good is absolute number 1 needed this season at $4 million. I agree. I like Good. I see him as one of our starting guards. I agree as well. Who wins the quarterback? I mean, it's Jared Stidham's the backup quarterback. That's what it's going to be. We need to save cap space to see where we need it after things really get rolling. I agree. That's why I said earlier, if your phone would have acted right, you would have heard me say, Keegan Jones, that we're going to roll with what we have right now, going into training camp, maybe the first preseason game, and we're going to see how the guys play well together. If the guys just aren't up to snuff, we're going to go out big game hunting. We're going to go find some starters. William Merchant again. Leatherwood will have a good veteran next to him this year, and if he truly fixed his hand placement, he will make the leap you are skeptical of. I hope so, and I hope he fixed his footwork, right? And I hope he fixed his timing because he was a lunger. He lunged forward, and it was just not good. Jack Kenna, happy Father's Day. All right, man. Well, thanks for hopping on, Jack. Go ahead and we'll see you next time. I think Andre James is safe at center for now. I don't know that Parham is going to take over the center position. I think it's just a lot to give to a rookie. You have to be a special player to start at that position as a rookie. What games am I going to be going to? I want to go to home games. I really want to go to the Kansas City game. I think it's the last game of the year. Is it? Let's take a look. God damn it. Let's take a motherfucking look. See what we got. Well, we're at Chargers the first game. I can probably go to that one, but nah, I'm not into that. Week 18. My computer is going super freaking slow. Chiefs at Raiders. I definitely want to go to the last game of the year for sure. That's definitely one game I want to go to. Bilal is there. Hankins is there. We got a couple of rookies that are pretty good. What was his name? Polka. We have a lot of guys, man. We have a lot of guys. I'm not saying that we shouldn't get Ndamukong Suh. I'm not saying that. But if the guys you have fit your system and they'll work and they'll be the guys that you need them to be, there's no need to go get Ndamukong Suh and pay all that money for them. You can use the money somewhere else. Keegan Jones, my first NFL game is the Raiders in Seattle game. If you are there, let me know. Raiders in Seattle. You know what? I do like Seattle, man. Seattle's a chill city. I went to Seattle for a fucking bachelor party of all things. And they have a lot of craft breweries out there. I didn't expect the craft breweries seem to be that big out there. I went to this bar there's a wall next to the fish market. There's a wall where everyone sticks their gum, right? And right next to that, there's a place called the Alibi Room, and it was a chill spot. We chilled there. Like most everyone had left. There's maybe a few of us left that on one of the last days. We chilled there for like 6 hours, man. They had brick oven pizzas to order. They had good stiff drinks. They had great playlists. I mean, I was having a great time there at the Alibi. Shout out to the Alibi Room in Seattle. But the bathroom situation is pretty rapey, man. It's like a very narrow, dark corridor, and it's got like one light bulb hanging, like a naked bulb hanging from the ceiling. I'm like, this is some Deliverance shit right here. William Merchant, don't go to the KC game. We will be resting our players with that number 1 seed wrapped up. Oh, yeah, I like the way you think, man. I'm going to be mad trash talking Belichick. Yeah, I mean, that'll be fun. Preseason game against the Pats, LA against the Rams, and Las Vegas versus the Chiefs last game. Man, those are good games, man. Those are all good games. So let's see what else we got here from comments wise. because we had a lot of good things to come through here. So some of you guys think you're funny, think you're comedians. All right. Uh, Chocolate City Outlaw said 44. You look more like 74. Jokingly said, like, there's some shit you say, Chocolate City Outlaw. There's some shit you say that you can't just like, ease your way back from. That's like, oh, dude, you got a tiny dick. I'm just kidding. Like, come on, man. You just don't say some shit. But I get it. I'm 44 years old and I'm sexy, so I don't give a shit. The Autumn Wind, he commented, sleeping on Gillespie. I have been sleeping on Gillespie. I think Gillespie can be a very good player. I don't think that his stats showed his ability from college. I think that injuries last year really derailed his development. I think that Gillespie could have been a Divine Diablo type. I think Nate Hobbs went in there and grabbed the slot position by the nuts and said, this is my position. I think Divine Diablo, because he was also a little bit dinged up in the beginning of the year, and because we had a super high-priced player in Corey Littleton, who we wanted to see work because we were paying him so much money. Ultimately, Divine Diablo made his way to the field and did a pretty good job of it. All right. Now, also here we have your bio dad. Well, I live in Delaware on the East Coast and have plenty of Raider fan friends and run into other Raiders fans everywhere. Bros, I'm telling you guys, I used to travel a lot. I had a company that we went and we did consultation work for different companies, and I traveled everywhere. And I traveled a lot. I had an office in Tampa for a lot of years. I used to go back and forth from LA to Tampa a lot. And there are Raider fans everywhere. I remember I was telling the story about RJ and I were talking about global brands, like brands. How much would a team sell for? And I said, well, if let's say the Raiders sold, let's just say, for example, the Raiders sold this year, and then next year, like the Seahawks sold. I don't think that the Seahawks would eclipse the Raiders price tag, because the Raiders, the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Patriots, those are like the big brands in the NFL, global brands. And they kind of supersede the fandom of just being an NFL team. They're global brands. And everywhere I've gone, I've seen Raider fans, like a lot of Raider fans. Like it doesn't trip me out when I went to Idaho and I saw Raider fans. Like it didn't trip me out at all. I was in Dallas with I don't know if you guys are constant listeners, you know that my buddy of RJ and myself went to chiropractic school in Dallas. Shout out Dane Wimmer, you bum. I'm sorry, Dr. Dane Wimmer, you bum. We went to go to some bar or whatever in the Dallas area, and our Uber driver, she was the local president of the local Raiders fan club. There are Raider fans everywhere, dude. That's right in the middle of cowboy country, and she was the president of the Raiders fan club in the local area. So Raider fans are everywhere, man. Raider fans are everywhere. So what else we got on here? Your bio that actually also gets something that was really good, and I wanted to touch on that. Your bio dad also commented, if Carr can stay just outside the top 10 with a dumpster fire of a situation for 9 years, he's definitely close to a top 5 with a stable, great situation. I'm tending to agree with that. Now, he does have to go on the field and he does have to perform like a top 5 quarterback, but he does have a big leg up now that he has better weapons, better play calling, all that good stuff, more stability. I do think it's possible for sure. What else we got here? Carlos Enfuego, my boy, he's one of my constant fans. He said, Linebackers have been ignored. Haven't drafted a linebacker in the first round. Pray one day defense is a priority. Matt Millen, Raider Nation for life. Well, not to disagree with my boy, but I mean, addition by subtraction, you got rid of Corey Littleton and Nick Kwiatkowski, got rid of their contracts and got rid of their poor play. But we added Jayon Brown, Kyler Fackrell, Micah Kaiser, Kenny Young, Cleveland Farrells when he moved to outside linebacker. We still have Divine Diablo and Denzel Perryman. We have a lot of linebackers. We did address the linebacker position this year. So I don't want to talk shit, but I think I'm just kind of informing at this point. Anthony, I'm hibernating on Gillespie. Yeah, man, look. He's a good player, dude. He's a good player. Can he fit into this scheme? Can he be as multiple as we need him to be? That's the question. He hasn't done shit. Well, yeah. He was hurt, man. He was hurt. You know, we'll see. Just another DJ. With it being Graham's first year with our defense, what makes you confident about the defense being better than last year? Well, Gus Bradley's first year in the defense was last year, and we were able to actually see what we had. I'm not saying that the defense performed better, but we were able to see what we had on defense. Like before, when we had Gunther, we didn't really know what we had because it was so just a jumble and a big mess. At least with a more streamlined type of defense, we were able to identify players who are going to be cornerstones moving forward. That's why we were able to get rid of Kwiatkowski. That's why we were able to get rid of Littleton. Although I wanted Hayward to come back, that's why we were able to let him walk because he didn't really fit the system that Graham runs. Got plenty of linebackers coming in. We signed some defensive backs. What I'm looking for is you have to take a look at Patrick Graham like a defensive Josh McDaniels. He's going to give specific game plans. Now, we all know that we game plan every week, no matter who you are, but not to this extent. The defense can look completely different from one week to the other. And basically all it is where you line up. Your principles are still the same. Your job is still the same. It's just where you line up. And I think Patrick Graham is going to get us going. I really do think that. Prevencio again. Mad Max, Chandler Jones, Perryman, Diablo. I like our cornerbacks. And Merrick is a young goat. Our defense has a strong foundation. I think our defense is going to be a lot better than people think. Keegan Jones, I was born and raised in Boise, Idaho for 19 years. Keegan, you know there are Raider fans out there. Tell these people. Raider fans still rule. Dude, there is no business for there to be Raider fans in fucking Idaho. None. It's so far removed from everything else. There were so many. Like, I don't understand how many Raider fans there were in Idaho. It was crazy. Oscar, what up, Juan? What up, baby? How we doing? All right, guys. All right, T Severe. This one. Always got to needle RJ. T Severe, right? RJ building in excuses for Carr already. Laughed my ass off. The best offensive quarter in the league as his head coach. The best wide receiver in the league. Top 5 slot receiver. Top 3 tight end. No excuses. Burrow went to Super Bowl with a similarly built team. Oh, I ran out of space. With a similarly built team. Look, guys. Everything is there for us. It's out there. We just got to grab it and we got to hang on to it. That's all we got to do, man. It's there for us. It's there for us to have. One of the best perennial teams in the league got a lot weaker because Tyreek Hill is no longer there. Okay. There's other teams that are going to try to step up, but we have something that we haven't had in a long time, which is stability. We have a stable front office. We have stability in the coaching, not just the head coach, but all the other coaches as well. We have stars that we want to build around, not just because they're the best players that we have on our team, but because they're some of the best in the league. And that's what you're looking for. Yeah, keep your best players, but if your best players aren't any good compared to the rest of the league, let them fucking walk and get new guys. Get guys that are good compared to the rest of the league, not just good for your team. And we have that. Because of that, I feel like we're going to have a lot more stronger foundation, a lot more success moving forward. All right, guys, I'm going to end up your time. It's my time for the day. I want to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification button. And like I always end every broadcast now with Raiders. Everybody, tip it back for Father's Day. Love you all. See you next time.